Hey there everyone, welcome back to another live stream. So today we are going to be looking at the October-November 2024 paper 1-3. So the way we are going to do is I'm going to look at the question. I'm going to try and answer it with however knowledge I have. Then we'll look at the marks and then compare. So see that I've been allocated 2 marks. Now over here it said that state the characteristics. So I don't think I'm going to get a mark for saying ROM stands for read-only memory or RAM stands for random access memory. So I don't think that's something that's going to get me marks. But what I can get marks with is that I know ROM is non-volatile. I know ROM stores the data permanently. And I know that the data can only be read and not written to in ROM. So if that's for ROM, then RAM becomes what? Data in RAM is volatile. It stores data temporarily, and then data in RAM can be read to and no, it can be read to and written to. Yep. So let's check. Okay, so data can only be read, can be read to and written to and read from. Yeah. Volatile temporarily, exact. And then it says state one for each of the following storage devices and media. So state one use. Okay, so again, you're not going to get the marks for saying that it stands for this or that. You have to give one use of it. So I know that ROM stores the startup instructions and the BIOS, which I think stands for both input and output system or so. So I can give two things here just to be sure. I know RAM stores the data I'm currently working, so I can write that over here, or the data that I'm currently processing. Blu-ray disc, because Blu-ray disc stores something very high quality, I can just say store or maybe even games, I guess. Then magnetic tape. Magnetic tapes are usually used to store backups and archives. So that's something I could say over here. So, okay. So, okay, startup instructions, BIOS, self-start procedures, hardware initialization routines, which are for ROM. Then for RAM, stores the data that the computer is currently processing, storing HD, movies, video games, data backups. Yeah, that's all that. A computer can use generic file formats. Okay. Describe each of the following generic file formats and then, okay, only describe. So even though it says describe here, I can easily get 1 mark for stating the full form of this. Now I know that CSV stands for comma separated values, and the way CSVs work is that they separate the data with a column. Okay, so you have, let's say, Prasanna comma and then Kede comma 02 and all those. So all that data is separated using commas and it's stored as a text file. So that's something I could say. Then RAR stands for Rochelle Archive. It's used to store it's usually used to like store compressed data. So it's like a data container which stores other files in a compressed form. So that's something I could say. And TXT basically stands for plain text. Okay, it's a plain text file which can be used by any editor because it's a plain text file. And then it's the data it stores does not usually contain formatting. That's usually with the other ones. So let's check. Yeah, there you go. You get 1 mark for saying the name of it, which I think I got them. Then I mentioned this. I mentioned separated by commas. Data container to hold other files exactly contains unformatted and can be opened by text editors. Then the file formats TXT, RAR, and CSV are examples of generic file formats. State 3 other examples of generic file formats. Okay, this is pretty easy. You can give any of the ones that you know. Some of the ones I know is HTML, CSS, GIF, JPG, PNG, PDF. What else? Yeah, I guess RTF, zip, and all those you can name them. Yeah. So you can go for any of them. I mentioned almost all of them except SVG, which I'm not too sure of. Let's check. SVG generic file format. Okay, so it stands for Scalable Vector Graphics, which is an XML based vector image format. So it's okay to store images, right? Let's check. Okay, apologize for the slow internet. Okay, so there's not really much that I can get from SVG, but it's a file image format, right? Explain the need for generic file format. So usually you need generic file format so that you can open your data in different softwares. And another thing you can say is that to uh, to open the data entered in one type of device into another type of device, which means that something that you entered on your phone can also be viewed and edited on your laptop. So you need that generic file format so that it can be opened on both of them. Allows users to save files so that they can be opened on any platform. Formatting of the file is not package specific. Therefore, formatting will not affect the file. Using generic formats allows files created on one type of computer to be read on another type of computer. Yeah. Okay. Many people use portable solid state drives rather than portable hard disk drives. Compare SSDs and HDDs. Your answer should include both similarities and differences. 6 marks, yeah. These brutal 6 mark questions are always going to be there. IGs love them so much for ICT. Now, let's take note here that because of that compare, just a second. So, yeah. Because they said compare, usually the that come with compare are like compare and contrast. That's when you're usually supposed to give the similarities and benefits. But over here, since it says only compare, if they hadn't mentioned that I should include both similarities and differences, I would have just given I would have probably given more similarities and then a few differences just to be safe. Because when they say compare, right, it's usually that parities, and when they say contrast, that's when they want the differences. So just be careful here. But since they've already mentioned it for you here, you're probably just safe. So read the question. It's very important that you read the question in this. So what are some advantages of portable SSD rather than portable hard disk drive? Okay, so I know that they are both secondary storage devices. They both store data. They both have fast access rates, so the data in them can be accessed really quickly. They both store large amount of data. Then, because it's 6 marks, right? I'm likely going to go for like 4 marks here and then 4 points here and then three here, or probably more, as many as I can remember for you guys. Okay. Then yeah, okay. So they also store data permanently. That's another feature of backing storages. Then they have fixed storage capacities, unlike cloud. Cloud, you can easily increase your storage capacity, but this one you have to maintain what you have. You are streaming, right? Yeah. Then I think these are all that I can remember. Yeah. So some of the differences include that. Okay, so since we are talking about SSD and HDD, I can first talk about the kind of device, like the kind of technology they use. So SSD uses semiconductor technology, hard disk drives uses magnetic technology. Now, since I'm talking about magnetic, that means that SSDs would not be affected by magnetic field or changes in magnetic field. SSDs are more robust since they have no moving parts, but HDDs have a running disk. You can even see it here. They have the disk mentioned here. Then I think the SSD is more of the newer technology, so it takes less processing power and uses less electrical power as well. Yeah, I think these are some of the ones that I could say. So both store data, fast access, fixed storage capacity, permanent. can be plugged into any computer system. Secondary storage can be read to and written from. No, written to and read from, my bad. Both, okay, this uses semiconductor, magnetic technology affected, robust, less heat. Okay, yeah. So I did say most of them. Okay. A number of different communication devices are connected to a network. Explain how the following devices operate. So have a switch and have a route. Okay, guys, please know the difference between a switch and a hub. Okay, so switch, oops, good. Switch and a hub. You should know the differences between them and how they operate. Okay, so switch is usually called a smart device. Okay, so what it does is that it connects a group of computers on a LAN together in a network. But this is a bit special. Why? Because you know that each device has their own unique MAC address. So when the switch receives a signal from each like particular device, it first reads its MAC address and then it reads the MAC address of the uh, MAC address of the computer that is supposed to receive it. Once it does, it locates where that computer is and then sends the uh, data or whatever was being sent to the recipient of the data. That's basically how a switch works. 4 marks, it might seem daunting, but it's okay. Trust me, you can do it. So router, okay, how it operates. So now I know that a router has like three main jobs. Is where the first one is used to connect devices on a LAN or a network to the internet. Then it's supposed to use routing tables to send data packets to its destination. And then it's used to store computer addresses. Right? So these are some of the things that I know or the functions of a router is. So now I'm going to take like one or two of them and then explain how it works. So to get my 4 marks, I think the one I could easily go with is using the data packet routing table one. Because I can easily say that the router receives the data packets. The data packets have an IP address with them. The router reads the IP address and looks at the destination address, looks at the destination place. Then it uses its routing table to find the best way possible to reach there. If none found, then it uses the default route. Then it saves the computer address for future references. Uh, and then so this continues the router process. It continues until it reaches its destination router or destination wherever it's supposed to be. Okay. I think that's all. I think that's about for 4 months. Bridges are communication devices. Explain what bridges are used for. So bridges are usually used to connect like different LANs together, or it can also connect different types of networks to form a particular type of or a single type of LAN. So these are some things that you could definitely say here. Okay, so a switch connects number of computers to make a LAN. Each device has unique address. The switch receives a signal from one device. Signal contains MAC address of sender. I think if I've missed anything, then we'll go ahead quickly. So this is for the bridge. So this is what I said. So yeah, exactly. So from here, then for the router, you can use any of the three processes and explain what you know about it or the how it operates. But trust me, just go for the one I told you because that's an easy one to remember, and also you can get more marks from it. Then the privacy and confidentiality of data becomes more important when using computer networks. Evaluate. So evaluate means give the positives and negatives, okay, but not directly. The different ways in which a user can ensure the privacy and confidentiality of data by using passwords. Guys, now know this. When we talk about password, we usually end up forgetting biometric passwords, okay? And this is something that IGs are bringing nowadays up a lot. So whenever password comes up, please remember that biometric biometric passwords are also part, okay? So some of the different ways I can ensure is that make sure to use strong passwords. Okay. Make sure to use strong passwords. Make sure the password is not directly linked to the user. Change the password. Change the password regularly so that it can such that it hasn't been used before. Use different passwords on different accounts so that even if one is guessed, the others are not compromised. Use biometric passwords as they are very difficult to forge and unique and not easily forgotten. But now that I've said the advantages, I can easily add a disadvantage for biometrics. In fact, is that biometrics has privacy issues. Okay, no, but that's not relating to. Yeah, I mean it is relating to privacy, but then it's not stating directly how it's relating to privacy issues. Okay, so I can say that different conditions may affect biometrics. Then since biometrics uses personal data, if it's lost or if it's hard, can cause great privacy issues. Okay, I think I can word it like that. Um, Something else I can also say is add use is it called second step verification or OT one-time passwords to strengthen your password security as well. Then what else is there? What else is there? I think these are more than 6 points. Yeah, it's almost nine. So I think I'm fine with these many points, which should be fine. Okay. RSI and eye strain can be caused. Okay. This is actually my favorite chapter in ICT because like it's something not too difficult to remember and easy to understand. So yeah, and it usually comes a lot nowadays. Taking breaks is one strategy for reducing these health issues. State two causes of RSI and give two strategies for preventing it. Okay, RSI is basically like when the tendons in your hand gets like they start paining a lot because you have been just doing one repetitive task. So I think one cause can be continuous writing continuous writing on the keyboard, like you're just writing all day, that can really hurt your hand muscles and everything. Then using a mouse for too long, I guess, or holding the mouse wrong. Some people like they have different ways of holding it. Sometimes the way they hold it can cause it to pain them. Then strategies. Okay, so now since I talked about keyboard here, I can just say use ergonomic keyboard. I talked about mouse here, so use ergonomic keyboard mouse, or I can say go for wrist rest. It's spelled like this, by the way, wrist rest. Then it says state two causes of eye strain and two strategies for preventing it. Yeah. So whatever you say here, right? So my cause one should be tackled by a strategy one. My cause strategy two should tackle strategy cause two. So the same thing that I will do here. I think first of the causes is staring at the screen too long, but then the strategy I would have said to prevent it is taking breaks. So let me not say that. I could say dares on the screen so you can regularly clean your screen. But I can also say the background lighting may not match the lighting of the computer. So increase or decrease the screen lighting to match the background lighting. I can't say that. Um, or I could also say blue. Okay, so maybe for another cause I could say is blue light. I don't know, glare from the screen. Use anti-glare or blue light preventing screens or something like that. So these are some things that I could definitely go for and see over here. Okay. Smartphones and computer devices can be used to play video games. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of using a smartphone rather than a computer to play video games. Okay, so I need advantages and disadvantages, and the 6 mark question comes again. Okay. So, what are some of the things I can think of? Um, Advantages is that it's smartphones are more portable, so you can take them to more places, and it's more likely to always be with you. Then I can also say that you can download more games on your you can download more games on your mobile phone or smartphone, because usually when you see people that like game a lot, you will see that they have a lot of apps or games on their phone, and then like the main ones, the high processing ones on the laptop only. So these are some of the disadvantages I could think of. Disadvantages is that um its disadvantages of smartphone is that it could hinder with the normal functions of the phone, or like for example you're playing and then suddenly you get a call, so that could hinder your gaming. Then it takes up lot it takes up a lot of battery power, whereas that's not the case with desktop because they're already plugged in, right? um Smartphones have less storage capacities, smartphones have less processing powers, and what else is there? So this is something like you see that they haven't really taught us this anywhere. It's just you using your critical thinking, understanding the scenario, and then coming up with an answer. So I could also say that let's say I'm a student, right? So I can easily be distracted if I'm playing on my phone rather than me playing on my computer. So it can lead to more distraction and health issues. Is something I could definitely add. Um, yeah, okay. Smaller smartphones have smaller screens, so it's difficult to see and difficult to control the movements and everything on the screen. So that's something I could say. I've given like what, 10 points, I think. Yeah, which is good for 6 marks. School can use school management systems. Describe the inputs, processing, and outputs required by a school management system to show to show learner performance. Okay, let me get 6 marks again. Yeah, knew it, just knew it. Because the way this IG's and it's 6 months, it's not going to leave us. So first I have to first give the inputs, I have to give the processing, and I have to give the outputs. So I think the inputs could be the students' personal details, students' test results, students' exam reports, students' complaints, students' behavior, and what else can we give? Attendance, how many days a child came when he didn't come. Then for processing, you can definitely get the average results. You can create graphs. You can do class comparisons. You can I don't know. Uh, yeah, I think these are some processings that you could do. Then output is that you can show the graphs that you created as statistical analysis. You can show predicted grades against your actual grades on graphs or anything. Then it can automatically send report cards to the parents, right? So these are some points that you could use. So I've given 6, 8, and then 12 for 6 marks. So you don't need to write all of them, just like two from each, and you'll get your marks. Computer aided learning. Okay, let me check. Are we streaming or not? Before, like yesterday, I am not. Okay, I am. Wait, just a second. Yeah, sorry, I was just checking whether I was streaming or not. Because, like, for the past 2 days, I've been streaming, but then it turned out that my internet stopped working, like, in the middle, and then I could only record it for the first 10 minutes. And then I was there yapping for like 1, 2 hours, but then it wasn't recorded these 2 days. But hopefully, this live stream is there. Then, what is meant by computer aided learning? Okay, so computer aided learning is basically like a software that is integrated into the school system, which teaches students at their own pace according to their own level of intelligence. Okay, so it's a form of learning, and then it's so you can usually say that a form of learning using a software which is integrated into the school system to help students learn about their subjects as well as being tailored to their own level of understanding and knowledge, which is way too much for 2 months, but like that's guaranteed 2 months when you say that. Sorry, we haven't been going through this, but yeah, here we are. Method of learning application software helps students learn about the subject tailored to the individual student and then take account of previous assessment when setting learning objectives. Okay. So the manager of a nursery plant has asked the system analyst to create a new database system to store information about his plants. This new data system needs to store the data. Okay. A unique reference number for each plant. That looks like ref number to me. The common name of each plant, this one. Plant is centered or not, this. Price from this to this. Okay, so price from this to this. Maximum height in meters. For each of the fields shown, you must state and describe the most appropriate validation that, okay, blah, 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 blah. So I have to give a validation check and why I chose that. So for reference number, I think I would give presence check because since it's a primary key, it cannot be a null value. And for price, they said price should be, they have even given done us a big favor. They have literally written range for us over here, which means I can easily go ahead with range check because the price must be between $10 to $100. In the table, state the most appropriate data types to create the database using the information given below. For any numeric field, specify the type of number. Okay, so they left out ref number, so it went from here, 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 here. Oops. So, for name of plant, I can usually go with text or alphanumeric. For centered, I'll go with Boolean. For price, that will be number, currency. Height will be number, and then decimal, because it has decimal places over here. Right. Okay, I think I highlighted a bit too much. Just let me clean it a bit. Perfect. Moving on. Okay. Cycle 2 web development layers. So over here they have said layers, which is why it would be wrong if we went ahead and chose CSS and HTML. Okay. So from what I see, I know we have content, presentation, and behavioral or behavior. So I see behavior and I see presentation. Explain why tables are used to structure elements within a web page. So okay, this is a bit of a difficult question, but thankfully it's only 2 marks. So, from what I know is that we use tables to allow the output of the data to be restricted within that place, and then so that I don't know if this is correct, so that when the tables are opened on different browsers, the content fits within them. I'm not entirely sure, so let's check. They restrict the output so that data remains constant, organizes the data on the web page. The tables are independent of the screen resolution. Okay. Different browsers should render the table in the same way. Yeah, so I think I should have gotten the mark there. Not sure though. I'm not sure though. Okay, a gesture-based interface can be used in gaming devices to play games. Describe the benefit and drawbacks of using a gesture based interface. So I'll have my benefits here and I'll have my drawbacks here. It's 6 marks, so I have to give 4, 3, or 3, 4. Or even if you are confident with your answer, you know that your 3, 3 are going to work, then who am I to stop you, right? Okay, so some of the benefits I know are that since there's no physical touching with the computer, is more likely to last longer. Then it gives a more realistic and immersive feeling, or how do I say, experience. Then what else can we say about gesture based? I think we can also add that the data entry is faster, and then the screen does not have any kind of buttons. So that is. Oh yeah, you also do not need to have oops. You do not need any additional devices. Then some of the drawbacks could include it could be expensive due to how complex it is. You could be easily tired doing all the gestures. You have to learn the learn the gestures. Then it can automatically trigger the system even if you didn't intend to do the gesture. You will need a good camera, high quality camera and motion sensors to detect your gestures, and then physical space as well. So these are some of the ones I need, and I think I can write. I think that's all for this paper. Okay, the paper was somewhat